Hey, it's Mike Kennedy coming back at you, Convoy Coffee Roasters. We are about to celebrate just last month we celebrated our 4th birthday. And one of the things I'm most proud of is that we have kept our word to our customers by bringing them a different single origin coffee every month just for that month. We're about to release our 50th origin of the month here in about a week and a half. And one of the ways we're celebrating this milestone is we're going back and taking a look at those origins of the month. And I want to share some of them with you because they're really great coffees. The thing to remember about single origin specialty coffee is that it's grown for quality. Commodity coffees, and I'll give you a little bit example on the scale that's used to determine that. But commodity coffees, those you most often find on the shelf in the grocery store, are grown for quantity. No special care is necessarily given to the individual trees, and they are most often harvested by machines that run down the rows and pick every single coffee cherry off the trees, whether the cherries are ripe or not. Single origin specialty coffees are hand-picked, only the ripest cherries every time. So workers are walking these rows over multiple days, picking only the cherries that are ripe. And you end up with a much higher quality coffee. Single origin coffees are grown again for quality, mostly on small farms, generally less than 5 acres. And the farmers have the opportunity then to take better care of every single tree. Single origin specialty coffees are playing an ever-increasing role in the coffee community. It's the third wave, what coffee people call the third wave of coffee. Quality is most important. Coffee drinkers today focus on quality. They want to know where the coffee came from. They want to know how it was grown. They want to know that sustainable farming practices were used in growing these trees. Coffee people look for the backstories, and I'll share some of those. They really want to get into understanding who grew it and where it was grown, and what each of these coffee farmers had to go through to make it happen so that you can have great coffee. Coffee people today know what the acronym RFA stands for when they see it on a bag of coffee. It's Rainforest Alliance, by the way. They look for other certifications too, like UTZ, UTZ, which is really kind of interesting because in the Guatemalan Mayan language, UTZ means good coffee. So if you see it on a bag or you see RFA on a bag, you'll know that you're getting good coffee. After saying all this, it comes down to just one thing. Serious coffee drinkers are refusing to settle for less than high quality coffees. And they don't want to settle for whatever the big companies are putting on the shelves that people think they're stuck with, think that those are their only options. Again, no one should ever settle. I mean, don't settle for a lesser coffee. You're worth more than that. Serious coffee drinkers are demanding high quality coffee, and they should, and so should you. Dawn and I have a saying that we live by here in the roastery: better coffee for all, lesser coffee for none. Again, I said it. We just celebrated our 4th birthday, and again, I'm really proud that we brought in 49 and soon to be 50 origins of the month. I want to touch on some of them over the years, give you a little bit of the backstory so that you can understand what we're talking about. In 2021, we brought our customers 11 great single origin coffees. I'm going to touch on the top 3. One of the coffees that's in the top 3 actually came from a country that we had never heard of, East Timor. Had to look it up on the map. It's a little island north of Australia. It's really good coffee, really popular with our customers. And they just really loved it. If you ever get the chance to try a coffee from East Timor, and I would try to stay away from those that have bright acidity. Get something that doesn't have quite so bright acidity, but super good coffee. Number 3 was India AA Girjan. This coffee has the record for us for selling out the fastest of all the origins of the month we brought in. 18 days we sold every last bean of that coffee. At day 19, we had customers come in for our retail days and ask for it or go, hey, where's that Indian coffee? That's fantastic. And boy, so a lot of them were disappointed. And I think some of them were kind of mad that it was all gone. But this Indian coffees are really super good. And one of the interesting things about it is almost all of the coffee grown in India is grown in the shade of larger trees. And coffee doesn't like a lot of direct sunlight. They like dappled sunlight coming through the leaves of the taller trees. Another thing about Indian coffees that I really like and makes them super interesting is that they're often intercropped with spice plants, spice trees, plants. So you end up with some really interesting flavor notes. If you've ever wondered how coffee got to India in the first place, interesting story. In the 17th century, a man named Baba Budan smuggled 7 beans into India and planted them in the hilly terrain of and I'm going to screw this up, Chikmagaluru district of India. This region today is known as the Baba Budan Giri. It's interesting the way the coffee made its way around the world. That's one of the more interesting stories. Number 2, El Salvador Finca Buenos Aires Red Bourbon. Now notice it's spelled like bourbon, and a lot of people think that it's bourbon. I've had to actually tell customers there's no bourbon in this coffee. In the coffee world, it's pronounced bourbon, and it refers to the varietal of coffee plant. In the coffee world, we hear talk of traceability. When I told you the name is Finca Buenos Aires Red Bourbon, Finca in Spanish means farm. So this coffee was grown on the Buenos Aires farm in El Salvador, on the slopes of Yamatepec. It's a volcano around Santa Ana. And the varietals of coffee on this farm are Red Bourbon, Orange Bourbon, and Pacamara. Number one, and I still can't believe how good this coffee was. It was a coffee brought in from Honduras. It's called La Hondureña, grown entirely, meticulously by women coffee farmers in Honduras. And I remember drinking that first cup, and I looked down at the cup, and I was like, wow, that's a damn good cup of coffee. That was really, really good. They carefully selected this coffee from smallholder women farmers, less than 5 total acres of land, so very, very small farms, and 2 producers, Socorro Reyes, who owns Finca El Masan, and Norma Lara, owner of Finca Gab. These women farmers grew this coffee in the Acatepecu region of Honduras. I hope I got that right. It lies in western Honduras and borders both El Salvador and Guatemala. The Specialty Coffee Association gives this coffee a cup score of 85.5. Let's go back to cup score real quick. Coffees are graded by professionals in the field. They grade the harvest first, the raw beans first, looking for defects, a certain number of defects in a random sample of the coffee beans. They also, after the coffee's roasted, they look at aromas and fragrances, overall flavor, the body of the coffee, the acidity of the coffee, the prominence of the flavor notes. Anything that's graded, and it's on a scale of 1 to 100, anything that's graded 79 and below is considered commodity coffee. That's what you get on the shelf in the grocery store. Anything between 80 and 84 is generally, it's just specialty coffee. 85 to 89 is extraordinary specialty coffee. And anything 90 or above is considered a President's Award coffee, and only 1% of the world's coffee gets that designation. So those are the really super good ones. In future videos, we're gonna look at other special single origin specialty coffees that we've brought in and give you some details there. Some countries you probably never even heard of either, but they're all fantastic, and we'll go into those more. I'll close with this. It's third wave coffee, people. Quality is the name of the game. You deserve to drink high quality coffee, and you should never settle for less than that. There's an interesting story behind every coffee out there, everything that's grown. Think of the farmers in these countries as you're sipping really good coffees. You owe it to them. They work hard to bring you great coffee. It's fantastic. Remember this: better coffee for all, lesser coffee for none. I'd love to hear about your single origin coffee stories in the comments section. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We're just getting started. We've got a lot more great coffee videos coming your way. And we're grateful to have you. Thank you.